The Council's miscalculation. The grand chamber of the galactic hegemony stretched across half a kilometer, its transparent dome revealing the spectacular triple star system of Centaurus Prime. Hundreds of representatives from across the galaxy sat in concentric rings, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. Some floated in suspension tanks, others perched on specialized platforms, while many sat in adapted chairs. Despite their physical differences, they shared a common trait: supreme confidence in their collective superiority. First speaker Chlorleth, a being composed of crystalline structures that shimmered with internal light, raised 4 of his 8 appendages to call for silence. The vast chamber, previously filled with the hum of 100 different translation devices, fell quiet. Esteemed members of the hegemony, Chlorleth's voice resonated through the chamber, automatically translated into each species' preferred communication method. We have discovered another sentient species in Sector 8, Quadrant 3, a world they call Earth. A massive hologram materialized in the center of the chamber, displaying a blue-green planet. The image zoomed in to show cities, oceans, and finally, humans going about their daily lives. As you can see, continued Chlorleth, they have achieved industrial civilization and have begun primitive space exploration, though they are confined to their own solar system. Our analysis suggests they are approximately at development stage 4.2 on the universal progression scale. Admiral Krull, representing the militant Vorkith Empire, leaned forward. His scaled skin reflected the hologram's light as his forked tongue tasted the air. Are they a threat? Chlorleth's crystalline body refracted light in what passed for amusement among his kind. Hardly. Their most advanced weapons would barely penetrate our standard shield technology. However, they show remarkable adaptability and cognitive potential. Science Director Ilara, a gaseous entity contained within an elegant exosuit, contributed her analysis. Their neural structures are particularly interesting. They process information inefficiently compared to most spacefaring species, yet they demonstrate astonishing creativity and lateral thinking. Their technological progression has accelerated dramatically in the past century. Then they'd fall under Protocol 572, declared High Arbiter Zol, an ancient being whose actual physical form was hidden beneath layers of ceremonial robes. We shall observe, assess, and when appropriate, implement the Standard Integration Procedure. The Standard Integration Procedure was the hegemony's euphemism for their time-tested method of absorbing new species into their collective. It began with covert observation, followed by manipulated discoveries that guided the species' technological development along paths the hegemony could easily control. By the time official first contact was made, the target species was already dependent on hegemony-derived technology and economic structures. It had worked flawlessly for over 20,000 years. I propose we establish a monitoring outpost in their solar system, said Chlorleth. According to our projections, they should achieve limited faster-than-light capability within 50 local years. We can begin subtle technological seeding within 20. The vote was unanimous. Earth would become the newest addition to the hegemony's collection of subjugated worlds, their inhabitants never realizing they were being guided into comfortable servitude rather than true galactic partnership. Commander Thela of the Monitoring Corps was assigned to lead the Earth observation mission. Her species resembled Earth's cephalopods, though with 7 tentacles and skin that could change not just color but texture and even apparent material. She had overseen 3 previous integration operations, all successful. Your mission parameters are standard, Commander, Chlorleth informed her during the private briefing. Establish an undetectable observation post in their outer solar system. Monitor all communications. Insert subtle mathematical concepts into their information networks when appropriate. Report any anomalies immediately. Thela accepted the assignment with the confidence of experience. The process has never failed, first speaker. In 5 decades, humans will believe they've earned their place among the stars, never suspecting we engineered their path to ensure they remain junior partners rather than equals. The observation post was established in the Kuiper Belt beyond Neptune. utilizing phase shift technology that kept it slightly out of synchronization with normal spacetime, completely undetectable to human technology. Or so the hegemony believed. At NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Facility in New Mexico, Dr. Eliza Chen stared at her screen with a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "Director Hammond, you need to see this." Hammond, a veteran astronomer in his 60s, looked over her shoulder at the data streaming across her monitor. "What am I looking at?" "Chen, gravitational microlensing effects at the edge of the solar system. Something's there that doesn't show up on our optical or radio telescopes." Hammond frowned. "Could be a computational error. I've triple-checked the algorithms," Chen insisted. "And look at the pattern. It's moving in a way that defies orbital mechanics. Whatever it is, it's under powered control." Over the next 3 months, a small secret team at NASA studied the anomaly. They called it the Ghost. Similar phenomena were soon detected by European, Chinese, and Indian space agencies. Rather than competing, the scientists shared data through encrypted channels, keeping their discoveries from the public to prevent panic. Meanwhile, Commander Thiele's team began their subtle influence campaign, injecting advanced mathematical concepts into obscure scientific journals and online forums. The hegemony had refined this technique over millennia. Ideas just advanced enough to accelerate progress, but seemingly originating from the target species themselves. The plan might have worked, except for Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, a quantum computing specialist at the Indian Space Research Organization. He noticed unusual patterns in recently published theoretical papers across multiple fields. The mathematics was revolutionary, but something about it struck him as too convenient, too perfectly aligned to solve several seemingly unrelated problems. Kapoor created an algorithm to analyze the pattern of these breakthroughs. His findings suggested an external guiding hand. Someone or something was feeding humanity specific information. When combined with the ghost observations, the conclusion was inescapable. Earth was under surveillance by a technologically superior civilization. Unlike the scenarios in countless human fiction stories, the world's governments didn't panic or fragment. Instead, a remarkable thing happened. They cooperated. A classified global initiative called Project Lazarus was established, bringing together the best scientific and military minds from across the planet. "We have 2 objectives," explained General Laura Rodriguez at the first full meeting. "First, learn everything we can about our watchers without alerting them that we've detected their presence. Second, develop countermeasures and contingency plans. The revelation that aliens existed and were spying on Earth could have triggered worldwide chaos. Instead, it catalyzed humanity's greatest unified effort. Working in secret facilities across the globe, scientists made breakthrough after breakthrough, partly by studying the alien-influenced mathematical concepts and reverse engineering the principles behind them." Commander Thiele's periodic reports to the hegemony were positive. Humans were advancing slightly faster than predicted, but along the expected pathways. There was no indication they had detected the observation post or the hegemony's subtle manipulations. Then came the day everything changed. The hegemony had decided to advance the timetable, moving from mathematical concepts to actual technological blueprints disguised as human innovations. A hegemony operative, physically altered to appear human, was inserted into a major technology company to introduce a revolutionary new energy storage system. Dr. Chen, now part of Project Lazarus, was reviewing data when she noticed an energy spike near Earth's moon. "We've got activity," she reported. "The Ghost is deploying something." Within minutes, Project Lazarus detected a craft entering Earth's atmosphere, its trajectory aimed at North America. Unlike the observation post, this vessel wasn't phase shifted. It was meant to be seen, just not understood for what it truly was. But humanity had spent 5 years preparing for this moment. As the hegemony craft approached its landing zone, it was suddenly surrounded by 6 experimental human aircraft, each equipped with technology that shouldn't have existed. The alien vessel attempted evasive maneuvers, but found its control systems mysteriously malfunctioning. In the Hegemony observation post, alarms blared as Commander Thela watched in horror. "Impossible," she whispered, her skin turning pale with shock. They couldn't have detected operative Zen. They couldn't have this technology. But the impossible was happening. The human aircraft herded the Hegemony vessel to a predetermined landing site in the Nevada desert. When the craft's door opened, Operative Zen found himself facing not panicked or awestruck humans, but a calm, prepared reception committee. General Rodriguez stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth," she said coolly. "We've been expecting you for quite some time. Perhaps you'd like to explain why you've been spying on us and manipulating our technological development." In the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Hegemony, First Speaker Thorlath received the emergency transmission from Commander Thela. For the first time in recorded history, the standard integration procedure had failed spectacularly. The humans hadn't just detected the Hegemony's presence, they had prepared for it, developed countermeasures, and captured a Hegemony operative. The question that echoed through the chamber was one the Hegemony had never had to ask before. What do we do now? Humanity's response. Admiral Vrel, Supreme Commander of the Hegemony Defense Forces, pounded his armored fist against the conference table. The impact created a spider web of cracks across the seemingly indestructible material. "This is unprecedented," he growled, bioluminescent patterns flashing across his exoskeleton in patterns indicating extreme agitation. "No species at their development stage has ever detected our observation posts. It defies all probability models." The emergency council meeting had been in session for hours. Commander Thela's report had thrown the usually confident Hegemony leadership into disarray. "The humans not only detected our outpost," Science Director Ilara summarized, "but they've apparently been aware of our presence for years, developing countermeasures in secret. They've captured Operative Zen and the insertion craft. Most alarmingly, they've demonstrated technology that should be beyond their capabilities." First Speaker Thorlath's crystalline form pulsed with troubled light. "How did they achieve this?" "Unknown," admitted Ilara. "But their neural architecture suggests exceptional pattern recognition and intuitive leaps. They may have reverse-engineered principles from the mathematical concepts we introduced." Admiral Vrel's bioluminescence shifted to the pattern indicating battle readiness. "The solution is simple. We launch an immediate show of force, a measured demonstration of our superior capabilities. We can position a battle group at the edge of their system. Once they understand the gulf between our technologies, they will negotiate from a position of appropriate humility." After brief deliberation, the Council approved the plan. 12 Hegemony warships were dispatched to Sol system, not enough to threaten Earth with destruction, but sufficient to demonstrate overwhelming superiority. On Earth, Project Lighthouse detected the approaching fleet long before it reached the solar system. The phase shift technology that had hidden the observation post was still largely mysterious to human scientists, but they had developed rudimentary detection methods. In the 5 years since discovering the alien presence, humanity had made technological leaps that would have normally taken centuries. This wasn't just due to reverse engineering the alien mathematical concepts. It was the psychological impact of knowing they weren't alone, and that the first aliens they encountered were manipulative rather than forthright. Fear and indignation proved powerful motivators. National rivalries were set aside in favor of species survival. Resources previously dedicated to military competition between nations were redirected toward space defense and technological development. Operative Zen, now held in a specialized facility, had initially refused to communicate. But human ingenuity found ways to extract information from his technology, if not from the operative himself. "They call themselves the Galactic Hegemony," Dr. Kapoor explained during a global security briefing. "Based on the data we've recovered, they've been manipulating emergent civilizations for thousands of years. They guide species development along predictable paths, ensuring technological compatibility with hegemony systems, and more importantly, maintaining their dominance." General Rodriguez nodded grimly. "So it's colonialism on a galactic scale." "Precisely," agreed Kapoor. and we're the first species to catch them in the act. Project Lighthouse had prepared multiple contingency plans for potential alien contact scenarios, ranging from peaceful exchange to hostile invasion. The approaching hegemony fleet called for Contingency Plan Delta, a response to intimidation tactics. As the hegemony warships entered the solar system, they detected no unusual activity. Human communications continued normally, with no indication of panic or awareness of the approaching fleet. This puzzled Admiral Vrel, who had expected some reaction once his ships were within detection range of Earth's primitive sensors. "They show no awareness of our presence," reported his communications officer. "Their transmissions continue to focus on internal matters." Vrel's bioluminescence flickered uncertainly. "Continue approach. Position the fleet near their moon. Once in position, broadcast the prepared message on all their communication frequencies." The hegemony ships accelerated toward Earth, their massive forms dwarfing anything humans had built. Yet as they passed Mars, unusual energy readings began to appear on their sensors. "Admiral," called the sensor officer, "I'm detecting multiple small objects throughout the system. They appear to be some form of primitive satellites, but they're emitting unusual energy signatures. Harmless observation platforms." Vrel dismissed. "Proceed as planned." That assumption proved catastrophic. As the hegemony fleet approached lunar orbit, the seemingly primitive satellites activated. Hundreds of devices, placed throughout the solar system over the preceding years, generated an interconnected energy field. On the hegemony flagship, alarms blared as systems began failing. "What's happening?" demanded Vrel. "Our drive systems are non-responsive," reported his engineering officer, panic evident in her voice. "Weapons systems offline. Communications limited to short range only." Throughout the fleet, the same pattern repeated, critical systems failing simultaneously. The mighty hegemony warships, each capable of devastating an entire planet, drifted helplessly in space. Only then did Earth respond. A transmission reached the crippled flagship, displaying a human female in a military uniform. "This is General Laura Rodriguez of Earth's Unified Defense Command to the approaching alien fleet. Your vessels have entered a defense field that selectively inhibits technologies operating on principles foreign to our system. This is not an act of aggression, but a security measure in response to your unannounced approach." Admiral Vrel stared at the human with disbelief. This was impossible. A Stage 4 civilization shouldn't be able to neutralize hegemony technology. The human continued. "We are aware of your galactic hegemony and its practices of technological manipulation and staged integration. We have questioned your operative and analyzed your technology. We understand your intentions toward Earth, and we reject them." She leaned forward, her expression hardening. "Here are our terms. Your fleet will be allowed to leave our system intact once we receive formal recognition of Earth's sovereignty and a binding non-interference agreement. Any future contact will be conducted openly, as equals." Vrel's bioluminescence flashed with rage. "What prevents us from calling for reinforcements once we leave your system? You cannot stand against the full might of the hegemony." The human's expression didn't change. "2 reasons, Admiral. First, we've transmitted evidence of your integration protocols to 27 species currently under hegemony influence. If you move against us, that information goes public across the galaxy." She paused, allowing that to sink in. "Second, the technology disabling your ships isn't actually our most advanced capability. It's merely what we were willing to reveal at this stage." For emphasis, a small human vessel appeared near the flagship. It emitted a focused energy beam that sliced cleanly through one of the hegemony ship's weapon systems, technology that should have been impervious to anything humans could produce. "That's impossible," whispered Vrel's science officer. "They can't have developed directed energy weapons of that precision." But the evidence was undeniable. Somehow, humans had leapfrogged centuries of expected technological development. The hegemony's careful plans hadn't just failed, they had backfired spectacularly. In the Grand Chamber, the Hegemony Council received Admiral Vrel's humiliating report. For the first time in recorded history, the hegemony faced a species that had not only rejected their integration protocol, but had effectively countered their military capabilities. How could this happen? Demanded High Arbiter Zol, his ancient voice trembling with shock. Science Director Ilara's analysis was sobering. We fundamentally misunderstood human psychology. When they detected our presence, instead of reacting with fear or worship as other species might, they responded with unprecedented cooperation and innovation. Our attempt to guide their development actually accelerated it beyond our models. First Speaker Xorlath faced an unprecedented decision. The hegemony could launch a full-scale assault on Earth, potentially overwhelming the human defenses through sheer numbers. But the humans threatening to expose the integration protocols to other hegemony subjects posed an existential risk to the galactic order. We must negotiate, Xorlath finally declared. For the first time, in 20,000 years, we will treat an emerging species as an equal. The agreement that followed transformed galactic politics. Earth received recognition as a sovereign system with a non-interference guarantee. In exchange, humanity agreed not to reveal the hegemony's manipulative practices to other species. Yet, as the hegemony fleet departed the solar system, General Rodriguez met with Earth's unified leadership. "This is just the beginning," she warned. "They'll be watching us more closely than ever, looking for weaknesses, planning their next move." "Then we'll continue Project Lighthouse," replied the Secretary General of the United Nations. "But expand its mission. We won't just defend Earth. We'll reach out to other species under hegemony influence, not to control them as the hegemony does, but to offer genuine partnership." In the darkness of space, humanity's first true interstellar vessels were already under construction, incorporating principles that even the hegemony hadn't mastered. Earth would not wait for the galaxy to come to them again. This time, humanity would venture outward on their own terms. In the Grand Chamber, First Speaker Xorlath added a new protocol to the hegemony archives, a warning about a small blue-green planet in an unremarkable spiral arm of the galaxy. The warning was simple: approach with extreme caution. These humans are unlike anything we have encountered before. The hegemony had ruled unchallenged for 20,000 years. But as news of the Earth situation quietly spread through the ranks, a dangerous question began to form in many minds. If the humans could resist the hegemony, what might other species accomplish if they knew the truth? The humans hadn't just defended their world. They had inadvertently sparked the first cracks in an empire that had spanned the stars since before their ancestors had discovered fire. The countdown to a new galactic order had begun.